The south of France, a prime holiday location with lots of places to relax and enjoy the sunshine. You can take a walk through typical French streets or admire the Basilica Notre Dame de la Garde, which stands over the city of Marseille. However, most will travel here for the beautiful seaside, and not far away is the Var department, with gorgeous beaches and traditional villages. At the foot of the Alps, we're here to race on the circuit Paul Ricard. Saturday the 16th of July, and the starting grid at the circuit Paul Ricard is filling up with a wide variety of cars.
We're here at Le Castellet, the place Le Castellet, for the Hankook 24 Hours of Circuit Paul Ricard. Round 5 in the 24-hour series powered by Hankook.
With the race starting just 2 days after the terror attack in Nice, the organisers held a minute of silence, followed by a stirring rendition of the French national anthem.
Allons enfants de la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé.
On Friday, the cars had to compete for their start position in the qualifying sessions.
The qualification was very exciting. It was, the whole top 7 is in about 1 second. On the pole position we have starting number 49, the team from DriveX. On the second place, starting number 27, the team from SPS. And on the third place, starting number 55, the winners from Zandvoort, Massive Motorsport.
It was a tight qualification, but we still are confident with our car balance for the race. So I think it's going to be a nice first stint because everyone want to push. Everything can happen.
The field has 9 different classes. Each class, of course, have their own pole qualifier. One team is pole in 2 classes.
First I had the qualification in the Seat TCR. I got a good lap on new tires, and on the end of the qualification I did it again. I improved my lap and we got pole position in class, so very happy of course. After that I jumped in the Mark car. First I got a good lap again on new tires. On the end of the qualification I jumped back in again and I improved my lap and also got pole in that class, so I'm very happy.
Unfortunately though, the team haven't got enough drivers to run 2 cars, so they'll only be racing the Mark Mazda number 202. The 303 will be left in the pits. That means the number 1 Seat of Memak Ogilvy team is promoted to pole sitter in the TCR class.
We're still optimising our setup, so we did struggle a little bit for pace, but we analysed the data and we improved the car for the night session where we ended up quickest. So we're in good shape now for the race today.
Team Altran are clearly happy at being first and second in their class, although they're playing down the importance of the achievement.
We have to be fast enough to be good in qualification, but the qualification, in endurance is not very, very important. It's important, but not so important as a quick race.
For GPC Motorsport, it's a good thing the race isn't determined by just the qualification, as their Vortex 1.0 didn't set a time and therefore has to start from the back of the grid.
It's a brand new car, we are developing the car. Unfortunately, we are doing that during the season, and here in Paul Ricard, a 24 hours race, we are really unlucky because we don't know where is the problem about the car. It's not possible to start the engine. In effect, we receive a special derogation to be able to start the engine during the refueling and the driver change. We will take a penalty, we will lose time, but at least we know that the engine will run.
And more teams worked on their cars overnight.
Well, we had some issues with the power steering pump yesterday. You could drive with it, but it wasn't good. And to start a race with that issue, it was not perfect. The problem was that it was actually it's a change that takes a long time. But the guys did it throughout the night and put in a brand new power steering pump.
To even out the balance of performance in their class, the K-Raja Peugeot has had to put an extra 50 kilograms in their car. How will this affect their race?
Right now we are something like 120 kilos more than the other cars, and 120 kilos, that's more or less 2 adults sitting beside you in the car, and of course that's very tough for the tires, for the brakes, and of course also for our fuel consumption. We never drove with that many kilo in the cars before, and so I can't really tell you how it's going to work.
It's almost 2:30 on Saturday afternoon, so what do the teams expect of the race?
Our expectation is to win our class. It will be, I think, not so difficult because we are only 3 cars. Our competitor, the same class, they are really high-level car, but for us, most important is to finish in the first, I will say, 15 cars in the total race.
Drama on the warm-up lap as the 72 Porsche 991 HRT performance racing car didn't leave the grid when the green flag was waved. Has managed to get to the start though and rejoined the pack in its original starting position. The pace car pulls away, and that means the field is under control of our pole sitter, the Audi R8, as they head towards the start line.
Start a race from the first row is always great, and we had a good start. I was on the outside for the turn 1, but I had a plan to make him the way into the corner very small, and it works. He tried to brake late, it was too late for him, and I could overtake him.
According to Juan Cruz Alvarez, it had nothing to do with heavy braking that locked the wheels.
We had a problem in the formation lap with the ABS system. We had a problem with the front right sensor of speed in the car, who don't allow the ABS system work properly. So I lost the first positions in the first few meters of the race. And after that, I tried to manage that problem, changing all the balance of the brake system.
So a technical issue changing the lead in the first corner. The 73 of HRT Performance is going well, but the sister car, the same car, remember, that had an issue on the warm-up lap, has come in after the first racing lap to have the driver's seatbelts adjusted properly. As they rejoin, the massive Motorsport number 55 Aston Martin of Nicky Team is pushed back into the garage, smoking.
Everything worked perfectly for 1.5 lap, and suddenly the new pump we just changed from last night just broke down. Not the same issue as we had on the old pump, but a completely new issue, and this one was not fixable.
It's an early retirement and a massive blow to the morale of the team.
For Massive Motorsport, this is our first 24-hour race, so all the guys have been looking forward to this for quite a while. And for us to finish after 2 laps is heartbreaking, and all the guys are very sad at the moment, so let's see.
There are others that have a bad start to the 24 hours. The number 102 BMW of JR Motorsport runs into difficulties and leaves a trail of oil on the track. That means the first code 60 of the race needs to be called. All the drivers must reduce their speed to 60 kilometers an hour, allowing the marshals to do their work safely. And immediately we see strategy as race leader Robert Renard uses the first code 60 to get fuel after less than 20 minutes of racing.
We thought we gained time because we don't lose so much time under code 60. We only had to refuel 20 liters. It was okay. It gave us other strategy, so now we will see.
Fantastic work by the marshals. Just 8 minutes to get rid of the oil spill, and then we're green flag and racing again. It's Matteo Malicelli now in the lead for Scuderia Praha. The Ferrari started from 5th position, now ahead of 2nd place Juan Cruz Alvarez in the pole-sitting 49 DriveX Audi. But not pleased at all, Team GPC Motorsport, the Vortex number 209, into the pits.
The fuel pressure drops for the low pressure pump went on default to over temperature. Yeah, the problem of the pump seems to be solved. It just went into protection. We find out why it went to, so they could fix it. Now they just have to find out to restart the engine because there is an issue with the battery low voltage.
Class leads and class positions, of course, are very important. The teams are battling for championship points. In the 991 category for Porsches, HRT Performance doing very well indeed.
I was really good. I could go into P2. Then I was closing in to the leading car. I overtook him, so I could go into the lead. I pushed a bit, so in the end I had a 12-second lead, but in the end of the stint I had to take out some pace, and I just stayed in the lead.
The great thing about a 24-hour endurance race, of course, is the fact that a spin or a small mistake may not cost you the race. Even the wrong tyre choice can be overcome.
I started on all tires. The team thought it was the best choice, but after half an hour I got a lot of oversteer. But my stint went well. I tried to manage the tires and come in, and I think we're still in P1, so that's good.
Pit stop strategy will be key. Some teams take them early, others push later into the race. Some will be in and out in a few minutes, others have a longer stop ahead. The pole-sitting number 49 Audi R8 has already had some issues.
First of all, the ABS problem. Then we have a flat tire in the back of the car. Then we have electrical problems for another 15 minutes. Sorry. So it's a hard race for us, but we're still fighting.
The early fuel stop taken under code 60 for the 911 of Precard Herberth Motorsport has really paid off. They can now extend their driver's stint to the maximum and have taken the lead, whilst their major competitors have had to pit.
I had a good time so far. 2 hours in the car, everything is running well, the team is working very good. And now 1 hour 50 in the end, I had a big drop of the tire, but they're looking still okay, so maybe it was only the feeling of the car.
New drivers in the cars now. HTP Motorsport now in the lead.
It was really fun. I mean, it's really hot now. You really have to look after the tires during all the stint. Otherwise, the last 30 minutes, it's just like impossible to drive. But you really have to force yourself to slow the car down in the corners to not overdrive the tires.
5 second lap, I got clipped up by a bit there in the last corner by a Corvette. Lost my bumper. I don't mind little accidents like that.
For us, it's important to stay clear and make a clear job. When you watch the last races during the during the 24-hour races, you have to stay clear. That's the main thing, I think. Without contact, without penalties, and just run.
1/8 of the race is completed. Here's the standings. At 3 hours, it seems like the different pit strategy has really worked for the 911 Porsche. They're now back in the lead and have a full lap over the 41 HTP Mercedes. Audi number 14 in third makes it a German top 3. In the SP2 class, it's the Australian-built Mark Mazda of Red Camel Jordan.nl, also with a full lap lead over the RWT Racing Chevrolet Corvette. VDS Racing Adventures, also in a Mark car but this time with Ford Focus bodywork, is in third. French car brands dominate the top 3 of the A2 class, with the Renault Clio of Presenza.eu leading, the Peugeot RCZ of Team K Raja in second, and PrepTech UK third in their Renault Clio 3. Plenty of action already in this 24-hour endurance race, and much more to come. Le Castellet is a small community with about 4,000 inhabitants. Its major claim to fame is the motor racing circuit, which held the French Grand Prix 14 times. Built by the pastis spirit magnate Paul Ricard, it bears his name. In later life, Monsieur Ricard became the mayor of Seine, the village that borders the circuit.
Normally it's always good weather here, it's always sunny. It's an open circuit, very long circuit with long straights, beautiful curves. It's open, it's a pleasure to be here and to race here.
It's an interesting track, it's pretty quick. You have a lot of room for error because there's runoff areas pretty much everywhere. But still you need to be careful. There's a couple of places where you can still go off pretty badly, so it's an interesting place here.
It's not tricky, like there are no special corners where you don't know, but the whole thing is just you have to be precise and everything, a lot of braking into the corner and turning in.
Circuit Paul Ricard is surrounded by breathtaking countryside. All the drivers really need to keep all of their attention and concentration on the track. There's a lot of overtaking to do. Pascal Colon in the 991 class Porsche is coming through the field. He may have been distracted, but he certainly didn't see Eric Vassier in the SP3 class 284 Ginetta. The 35 B2F competition Porsche did get a 5-lap penalty for this move, but Nova Race, the Italian team, sees their weekend over after a little more than 3 hours of racing. Claiming the track required a short circuit-wide code 60, but the green flags were back out very quickly indeed. Maximum power and speed being asked from all the cars, but Patrick Assenheimer in the Chevrolet Corvette of RWT Racing needed an alternative power source.
The car came into the box and we checked the car, and the whole drivetrain was broken from the motor up to the gearbox, so we cannot fix it into 1 or 3 or 2 hours, so we decided to stop the race.
Despite troubles from the very start of the race, DriveX are still enjoying the event.
I'm enjoying very much the weekend. So far, we are fighting every session, fighting for first position, so it's good for us. I don't think we have the chance to the podium right now, but it's a long way to go. We have to fight.
A huge amount of pressure on the drivers and plenty of strain on the cars during the Hankook 24 hours of Circuit Paul Ricard. Issues pop up when you least expect them.
We decided to run all the way to the end, and in the last corner, coming into the pit lane, my brakes locked up for no reason whatsoever, so I had to go round. As I went around the final lap, I felt the car was all off, so it turns out we lost the front right damper. Which means that I'm not going to get the same sort of traction and the same sort of grip that I need. And the suspension is completely leant over, and therefore when I apply the brakes, it's not going to work in the same way.
One extra lap on the track means that Nabil went over the 2-hour driver maximum by just 38 seconds. That cost them a 1-lap penalty, but he still enjoyed his time behind the wheel.
It was really enjoyable. So the fact that we hooked up with the 125 for about 25 laps, exchanging places and playing with each other and toying with each other. We've got massive respect for each other. I know Gijs and Harry will say the same thing for us. So we know we go, as Creventic say, together through the corners. So we know we're not going to push each other too far so we get contact and put each other out of the race. But it's not going to stop us from racing. So it was one of the most enjoyable stints I think I've ever had.
The highly competitive nature of the Hankook Endurance Series means that when you're behind the wheel, you're on edge all of the time. But when you're out of the car, there's time to relax.
We got it from Creventic. Thanks to them for sponsoring us with such a big pool. Yeah, that's amazing. Feeling like holidays.
What looks like a serious incident on the main straight brings out a code 60.
We went on the straight where we want to overtake a slower car. There was another car also overtaking us. We were with 3 of us on the straight, and there was no space, and we hit each other and we get in the wall.
Both drivers unharmed.
The car is heavily damaged. We cannot repair it here, so we finished for today. The Peugeot is also finished for today. Too much damage.
After the clean-up, the green flags are out again, and immediately the battles on track resume. This is real racing, a feeling that's difficult to describe.
Yeah, it's tough to explain to normal people what racing is. And I say normal people for a reason, because people involved in racing are all a bit crazy. Yeah, the whole thrill of driving a car on the limit is an amazing feeling. The technique it takes, the speed you have. It's a sport, the competition, so everything together makes it really nice to do.
Hot on the heels of the race leader, Scuderia Praha get a shock, the bonnet coming loose out on track. Shortly afterwards, a left rear puncture, and the number 11 Ferrari comes slowly back to the pit lane. The track marshals recover the lost bonnet, and the team manages to get the car out in just over 10 minutes, but now in 9th position overall.
In the exit of last corner, I was in a rush to catch a Porsche, and I went to the power a little bit early. I spun off and I turned the engine shuts off, and I restarted the engine, but I lost the power steering, so I couldn't turn the steering wheel very, very hard, super hard.
We approach nighttime racing. We're on board the 208 Peugeot of Team Altran, and we can have a look at the standings after 7 hours. The German team Precod Herbuth Motorsport in their 911 Porsche, 170 laps behind them. That's one more lap than the number 14 of British team Optimum Motorsport. The Ram Racing number 30, now 3rd overall. These are all A6 Pro Class cars, as is the rest of the top 5. 6th to 8th overall are A6 AM cars, and in that class it's the IDEX Sport Racing team who lead with their Mercedes AMG. The number 10 Hofer Racing Mercedes SLS AMG 2nd in class, the number 12 Lamborghini Huracan of Lippert Motorsport in 3rd. In the A3 class, it's the number 205 Peugeot 208 GTI of Team Altron Peugeot that leads the class. 2nd is the BMW number 148 of Belgium Team QSR, and 3rd in the A3 category, Zorg Rennsport BMW, the 151 car. Team Altran is playing host to a lot of guests this weekend.
In France, we are a French team, so we have many guests from Altran, many guests from Peugeot. It's a great time for us. It's a great support for us too.
In order to cater for their visitors' needs, they've acquired a VIP box.
In order to set this kind of VIP venues, we asked Creventic to introduce us with the track organization. For instance, here's the PAUL RICARD, but could be Silverstone or whatever track.
The exciting reputation of the 24-hour series meant that many customers accepted the invitation.
Here we are welcoming a bit over 200 guests. The response of our customer is happiness, because when they come here, they love to see what's happening.
And the drivers seem to benefit from the support they receive from their visitors.
Have it during the pit, during all the reception, the lunch, and all those things like this. That we can feel the support of all the people who are there.
Most of the Ultran guests have now headed home for the night, although there'll be a new batch arriving in the morning. Back in the race, some debris is cleared from the track by a brave marshal. That means there's no need for another Code 60. Nighttime is closing in.
The sun is going down at the moment. I think in about 30 minutes it will be totally dark. And that is a new episode of this race when it's dark.
The teams are enjoying the race as well.
Well, the race is good. Car is running and we're having fun. And we had some minor problems. The mirror broke, and so we will replace that. So that's nice problems to have.
Iranian Maisam Tahiri is enjoying the close competition in the class.
We are racing in a cup class now, which the cars are identical-ish. We're pushing it. It's a good race. It's a very, very close race. And depends on the drivers and the driver lineup of each team. You keep zigzagging up and down in the class, and you still don't know where you're standing. But yeah, it's going well. It's good.
The cars at the front of the field, and especially the leading Porsche, seem to be running the race free of issues, whilst others are seeing their pits more frequently. It's the 209 once again being serviced, and the 202 Red Camel Jordan. They've been battling a variety of issues.
1 hour ago the wheel came loose. I think the wheel was not good set up on the car. Robert Neeren was in the car at the moment. The wheel came loose, he came in, and they saw there was a lot of damage caused by it. They fixed it and they went out. But now we have problems with the engine. One of the cylinders is not running with the engine, and they're trying to fix it, but they don't really know what is causing the problem.
The Optimum Motorsport number 14 Audi R8 has been second overall for quite some time, but they're in the pits as well now.
We had a noise, and later we had some mechanical issue that we don't know where it comes from, and we decided we had to box and to replace it in case of further damage.
Replacing a gearbox is a big job, but they're well prepared for it, although it still cost them an hour in the pits. Out on the track, if you miss apices, you get into difficulties.
In the dark, where we struggled a bit with our lights adjustments, and maybe we didn't have everything pointed exactly, and we couldn't see the apexes as clearly as we wanted to. Just a touch of another car, so I mean we had very little damage. We had damage to a splitter, and we quickly repaired that.
The new gearbox in the Optimum Audi is working fine, but the team have brought it back into the pits. They've been looking at their finishing potential in the race.
For us, finishing 5th, 10th, wherever's meaningless to us. So everything's fine with it now, but we just really thought there was no point risking any further damage or anything for what would we see as not the best result we could get, which we were aiming for the win without a shadow of a doubt. I'll be pretty damn sure we're going to come back and get that Barcelona 24-hour for sure. Let's call it third time lucky.
Tom Onslow Cole has switched from Ram Racing to SPS Automotive Performance for this race, and the Mercedes AMG is doing very nicely.
So I think we're still in P2, and we're sitting with a decent gap to 1 and a bit of a gap to 3. So, you don't like to wish anyone any bad luck. We're going to just chase hard and try and keep our car clean and not use the curbs too hard, and make sure that we're there at the end.
GPC Motorsport and their 209 car have been battling issues all the way through the race, and now they've got to deal with a fire in the car. A Code 60 is called at almost the halfway mark of the race, so that gives us the opportunity to look at the standings. It's been a brilliant 12 hours for Precourt Herberth Motorsport, and they have extended their overall lead to 3 laps over second place SPS Automotive Performance. Scuderia Praha have fought back to third in the number 11 Ferrari, and the next 4 positions are held by A6 amateur cars. The first non-A6 car is in 10th. It's the Porsche 997 Cup car of Spartan Motorsport, and they're leading the SPX class. Got a massive lead over the 209 Vortex of GPC Motorsport. That was the car that just caught fire on track. Meanwhile, the 49 Porsche has already had to retire. No championship points for them. The 991 class, it's the 78 of MRS GT Racing that's leading. Only 1 lap lead though over the 35 of B2F competition. Third, the number 62 of MSG Motorsport.
It's now 2:30 in the morning or 2:30 in the night. We're halfway. 12 hours done, 12 hours to go.
And the green flag will be out again shortly so that we can go back racing. We're deep into the night at Circuit Paul Ricard, and racing in the dark means adjustment to your driving and extra attention.
I mean, I think it is changing. It's more tiring and more concentration needed, but a part of that is just you drive the same way, just more careful, and especially the lights in the back, just getting you. It's really hard to see how far the cars are, but I mean, you get used to it. Like you have to actually, you have to deal with it at least.
We'll do all right, to be fair. 3 of the drivers are really quite good in the dark, me being one of them, so we'll be fine. We should be quite consistent.
The 209 Vortex is back in the pit lane. The team having a look at the car to see if they can get it back on the track. They've done that a few times now, and it's a testament to the resilience of the team. But this time, the team have concluded that the fire was just too much for the car, and just after the halfway mark, the Vortex of GPC Motorsport is a retirement. The 208 Peugeot of Team Ultron has been into the pit lane a few times more than they had planned for.
This night we had a lot of small electronic issues, mainly captors, clutch, hydraulic, not huge parts, but a lot of wake up and go back to sleep for the mechanics, which they don't like really.
In the 24-hour series, drivers are limited to a maximum time in the car of 2 hours. Then they can't go back into the car and drive again before they've had 2/3 of the time that they've been in as a rest period. No respite though for the technicians. They'll take every opportunity to get any sleep they can. They never know when their services may be required. The cars have been battling throughout the night, and at 5:30 in the morning, the sky begins to lose the black colour, changes to orange, then blue, and a new day. Stuart Hall is in the number 30 Mercedes AMG. The Ram racing car has a new livery and a new driver lineup.
Oh, Tom. Yeah, he's jumped ship to SBS. He got an opportunity there. He seems to be going very well there, and he's turned from teammate to competition for the weekend.
But Tom knows everything about the Ram car and the team, so doesn't that give him an unfair advantage?
SBS, I'm sure, are a good team. We're a good team. Yes, Tom knows Ram, but, a car's a car. You can only drive it so fast.
There's a big smoke screen in the first corner caused by the QSR BMW 148.
Yes, we had a problem with the brake system in the right front here. You brake and it go on, but it was okay. I had enough place to stop it. It's no problem, and now they are paid. It will be okay. They are everything new on the car.
Michel Mitius in the B2F competition Porsche has a loose rear view mirror. That's distracting him in the car and means he can't see what's coming up behind him. Farid Ali in the 231 Porsche is stuck at the side of the track without a left rear wheel. He's just come out of the pits, and it seems that his OCC LASIK Racing with Newbridge Motorsport team might have made a mistake and not tightened the bolts. There's a code 60 for the flatbed to go out and bring the car back to the pits. This is a real advantage of the 24-hour series powered by Hankook. Your race doesn't necessarily end if you hit trouble. If you can get your car back to the pits, even on a flatbed, and then fix it and get back out onto the track, you can continue to compete. At 18 hours, the gaps in the top 3 have grown. The 911 of Precourt Herberth Motorsport has now a 6-lap lead over the 11 Scuderia Praha Ferrari. Third, a further 7 laps behind, is the number 27 of SPS Automotive Performance. The TCR class, the reigning series champions in the number 1 Seat Memak Ogilvy Dual Racing, they have an extraordinary 40-lap lead over the 144 of RS Connect. Third is the 125 Seat, but that car's already crashed. In the SP3 class, the lead is now held by the 236 Porsche Cayman of Alfab Racing. They have an 11-lap advantage over the 103 BMW of JR Motorsport. Third in class, Team Africa Le Mans with their Ginetta number 555, and they have a 15-lap lead over the 4th position in class.
Well, this is the African Le Mans team, and it's a bunch of great motorsport enthusiasts and run from South Africa. So we feel like the Jamaican bobsleigh team, you know, from Cool Running, the movie, with a 24-hour race. We just have to see if it's our race or not, because so many things can happen.
Africa Le Mans have come with an eye-catching livery designed to raise awareness of the fight against the poaching of exotic animals.
Africa faces a major challenge with poaching. We lose 400 rhinos a year, for example, in South Africa, mainly to customers in the Far East, and they're poached on behalf of those customers. And this is obviously a tremendous concern for all African. And of course, we put a cheetah on the bonnet. A cheetah is supposed to be the world's fastest mammal. We like to think that we're the world's fastest mammals in the car, of course, but that's just a way of strikingly highlighting anti-poaching concerns. And you know, it's about poaching and anti-poaching is about the next generation. If we don't protect what we have today, we won't have it tomorrow.
The 555 Ginetta of Team Africa Le Mans is a first-time competitor, and they're enjoying their event.
It's been absolutely fantastic for us to be at PAUL RICARD, especially a circuit with a very long history. We've had 2 incidents with other vehicles, but very sportsmanlike behavior. I think also maybe we're a bit of a novelty at this moment in time when we had to share a pit box with a professional organization like the IDEC team. They were skeptical, but they've helped us enormously. What we needed and what we didn't have with us, we've borrowed from other teams, and everybody was willing to give us a hand, which has been, as I said, the hospitality has been fantastic.
There's real camaraderie in the FIA International Endurance Series, in the paddock and even on the track.
It was close, it was hard, it was fair, but everybody loved to watch this, I think, and for me it was fun in the car to fight such hard, but stay always fair, and it was great.
The variety of cars and drivers adds to the excitement of the racing, but with touring cars, GT cars, gentlemen, amateur and professional drivers, there has to be respect.
As this is a friendly organization, they welcome a lot of amateur drivers, and that is part of these events, but it makes it very challenging for us in the quicker cars as the pros. We try to get the maximum out of the car, so you want to be quick, and you have to overtake slower cars, and they do unexpected things, because people are not as experienced as we are. So sometimes you get into very difficult situations, tricky situations. If you're going to go over a pass on a slower driver, leave a little bit of space there that you can always pull back if he decides to turn in or do something unexpected. But it makes it interesting at the same time.
It's been a great fight back after their earlier issues by the number 11 of Scuderia Praha. Now back to second overall, but there's more drama as Peter Cox brings the car back to the pit lane.
I mean, the car was already not, let's say, in the state how I left it, and so I just, tried to maintain a pace, and it was actually okay. I mean, we had a margin, so it was not a problem. I thought, to be honest, it was a broken roll bar or something, but it seems to be a bit worse. It's a broken front shock absorber, so some work. So now it will be tight, for the podium.
After a frantic 20 minutes in the garage, it's up to Joseph Kral to regain the podium position. The 202 Red Camel Jordan NL Mark Carr's Australia machine has been a regular visitor to the pits. This time it seems their race is over.
We got a few problems with the engine. The cylinder didn't work, the 8-cylinder. They tried to fix it, and every time there was another cylinder broken or something. Eventually we got an oil pressure error, and then the engine stopped running completely, and I think engine is dead now.
The 73 Porsche of HRT Performance. They've just taken the lead in class from MSG Motorsport, but they seem to be more concerned with the championship.
We expect that we are on the podium with this car, but I don't know, 1, 2, 3, but it's okay. We are leading the championship in the 991 class, so you know we have to finish 60%, so we get a lot of points. And now, at this moment, we are still leading. Doesn't matter how the race ends.
I was in the car. We were just looking to finish it off, not even pushing that hard anymore. And we had another tire failure. And this time it hit the fuel line, and it started to be. It started a big fire in the car. Luckily, I could get out on time, but the car is finished. So maybe, we have too much camber, which is too much, the position of the rear wheels. Maybe we create too much temperature in the wheel, I don't know. It is very hot out here. It's a very tough track for the tires, so it's a combination of things for sure.
Now, obviously you want to be on the racing line as much as you can, but with the different categories, you have to overtake. That takes you into the dirt and debris, and that can cause problems.
We had some bad luck. We have a radiator damage. I think there's something on the track, some debris flying in the radiator. So we are on position 5, but it's not so bad. Still 2 cars are running, and that's also a big effort on a 24-hour race.
Scuderia Praha back into the top 3 after 21 hours. Let's look at the rest of the standings. With 3 hours to go, the 911 of Prekert Herbuth Motorsport has had a faultless race, and their lead is now out to 14 laps. Behind them, the battle for second has intensified. There's not even 15 seconds between the number 30 of Ram Racing in second and the number 11, the Ferrari of Scuderia Praha, in third. The 991 Porsche class leaders are 12th to 15th overall. They're very closely matched, with HRT Performance leading, followed by the MRS GT Racing number 78 in second, and MSG Motorsport with the 62 car is in third. There's another Porsche leading the SP2 category, the number 64 of Porsche Lorient Racing, ahead of the 95 Mark Focus of VDS Racing Adventures in second. The Belgian team has a 4-lap advantage over their countrymen in the Speed Lover Porsche number 84 in third. With 3 hours of racing still to go, coming next is the race to the checkered flag. In the lead up to the race, Creventic, the organisers, have published a draft calendar for the 2017 season of both series, and there's been a major overhaul.
Yeah, we have quite some changes. For the 24-hour series, we have a few new challenging circuits, like Imola, Portimao, Monza and Misano. And at the Touring Car Endurance Series, we have some races we already know from the 24-hour series, like Silverstone, like Zandvoort and like Barcelona.
The new calendar has been influenced by the wishes of the teams.
We have listened very good to the teams, to the drivers, what they want and what they like. And with this program, we made a suit program for that.
First reactions seem positive.
I like it. I'm looking forward for the season final at Circuit of the America. It's a very nice track. I was never been there, but I saw it in the TV. I'm really happy with it.
Some of the tracks that we really love to race, they're not there anymore. They're in the touring car, and some new tracks which are a little bit far for us. But yeah, change is always good. You do new things, you do new races, new tracks.
We see the program for next year as well, and we think it's a great program. We have 3 races in Italy, so for sure we're going to join all the championship also next year.
And we wait for the exact dates of the new schedules. It's the final 3 hours of the Hankook 24 hours of Circuit Paul Ricard, and a tyre and wheel are crossing the track. Until recently, that wheel and tyre was on the MRS GT Racing Porsche driven by Charles Esplanau. The car comes back to the pits on a flatbed. The team were able to get the Porsche out again in just a couple of minutes. The A6 amateur class now 3rd and 4th positions overall, and as we can see, the number 10 Hofer Racing and the number 34 Car Collection teams are just seconds apart.
At the end of the sim, my tires got really bad, so I spun once and I lost some time.
and that's how car collection got in front again, and so now we are fighting.
In the A6 amateur class then, clearly nothing yet decided. It's a very different scenario in A6 Pro and at the head of the field. During the first 6.5 hours of the race, the leads swapped many times. But since then, the 911 Porsche of Herbeth Motorsport has been in the lead and has not relinquished that position even when in the pits.
We had bad luck in Mugello in the beginning of this year. Zandvoort was a very good weekend for us. We could win it. And now it looks good for PAUL Ricard.
The battle for second right now between the 11 Scuderia Praha Ferrari and the 30 Ram Racing Mercedes.
It was eventful. We've got a gearbox problem with the car. Gearbox temperature's going too high, so it was difficult to manage that. Also, Malicelli was fast in the Ferrari, but we're able to keep him behind, which is the main thing. But unfortunately, I had to pit very early to try and put a bit more oil in the gearbox. Hopefully JCW can catch up.
A puncture for the Ferrari takes them out of the battle for second for the time being, but just after they've come back onto the track, the number 11 car is back in the pits again, now with a temperature problem.
Just in sixth gear, no downshift, and the temperature starts to go up and up, so before broke everything, I stopped the car.
It's retirement for the Scuderia Praha Ferrari after a fine race. In the other classes, the battles have not yet been resolved. In the A3 category, both of the Team Ultram Peugeots are still in the running. There are 10 laps between them, but the leading car is not the one they expected.
Normally our quick car is the 208, but today, as we spend too much time in the box, the 205 is the leading car, and if it goes to the end, there is no way the 208 can catch the 205.
Still, the team clearly happy with first and second in class at the moment.
If we can manage to do a 1 and 2 for Atran, it will be fantastic.
And as the race winds down, the sponsors are also pleased that they've made the trip to the south of France.
We have the chance that we have a very nice weather. The race was very nice because we have a lot of changes of position and everything. And we are at home, like BRM is a French brand. So we are very happy to be here, and it's a very nice race.
Charles is proud and privileged that the trophies are made by BRM for the 24-hour series.
Yeah, it's always something very special because, you know, it's a very long race, it's something very hard. So we are very proud to offer them this trophy. And after, for us, it's very important because, you know, after this, as it's a BRM trophy, we are in their house or in their office, you know. We are with them at the end all over the year. So we are very proud, you know, to give these trophies.
The winner's trophy will have the French blue, white and red, and it's becoming clearer and clearer which team will be the one that will be raising that trophy soon on the overall podium. As the end of this 24-hour race in the south of France approaches, some cars look still brand new, others still battling their race-long gremlins.
We were P1 in the night, everything seemed fine, and then we had some problem with the ABS. It just went off, and I had to drive my stint without ABS. So it was really annoying, but hopefully we can keep our podium position.
It's busy on the pit wall, and some teams are not at all sure about the eventual outcomes for their car.
Well, I'm looking at the screen right now. We are on P3. I hope we can hold it, but it will be really difficult.
The end of 24 hours, and the checkered flag is seen first for the Porsche, the number 911 of Prekert Herbeth Motorsport. A dominating 14-lap victory over second, the number 30 Mercedes of Ram Racing. Third, and winning the amateur class, the number 10 of Hofer Racing. The win clinched by an overjoyed Daniel Allemann.
Oh, the race was very fine. We had no problem. A very good car, very good support from Porsche, a very good team. Everything is fine. You have no mistake. The car is running very well.
But not everyone had a trouble-free last stint.
I didn't have radio, so I didn't know what was going on. I knew it was close between Ram, us, and then Scuderia Ferrari. I only have like 5 liters of fuel left, so you know it was pretty crazy on the way.
Waiting behind the podium, a huge lineup of happy faces.
We made it, you know, that's the big thing, you know, as a A6 amateur, going third overall is amazing.
Team Pregget Herbert Motorsport in the Porsche 991 are overall winners. Second in the general classification, Ram Racing, whose number 13 Mercedes AMG GT3 just managed to stay ahead of the number 10 Mercedes SLS, the Swiss team Hofer Racing. As a sign of respect to the tragic events in Nice just a few days earlier, there's no champagne to be sprayed at this podium ceremony. And a quick run through the standings in the 9 categories. The A6 Pro winner, as we know, the 911 of Pregget Herbert Motorsport. The A6 Arm winner, third overall, the number 10 of Hofer Racing. Spark Motorsport wins the SPX class. In SP2, the 64 Porsche Lorient racing car wins. The number 73 of HRT Performance wins the 991 class. The 236 Alphab Racing Porsche Cayman wins the SP3 category. It's another win for the Memak Ogilvy Dual Racing team in the TCR class with their number 1 Seat. The 205 of Team Altram Peugeot wins the A3 class ahead of their teammates. And the Presenza.eu Racing Team Clio wins the A2 category.
The feeling I'm taking back with me is that I really want to come back here and do more events of the Creventic series.
But what will happen tonight?
Tonight, we make a big party.
Another brilliant and exciting race weekend here in the south of France for the second Hankook 24 Hours of Circuit Paul Ricard. It's back in the calendar for next year, so this race will return to the 24-hour endurance series. But first, we're off to Spain, and I hope they can join us for the Hankook 24 Hours of Barcelona.